What's up? We are here.
Alright, so here we are, preparing to shoot our 5th episode of Jezia's Refined Dining. We're going to be headed back down to Matt's house so we can film the belly of the beef 2 ways. So in this episode, I'm going to show you folks how to braise beef belly and how to smoke beef belly. So the 2 different techniques, how we're able to retain the fat content, textures, flavor profiles. It's going to be a great variant, a great how to do a proper braising and do a proper smoking that belly, something really fatty, a piece of meat that Americans are a little bit less familiar with when it comes to the cow, but is one of the best pieces of meat on the animal. In addition to that, we've got a very special preparation for our appetizer. So I'm doing one of my favorite things, which is hog leg. So we're talking the whole shin. I'm going to show you guys how to open up the skin, season it, smoke it, get those beautiful tender little beef nuggets. In addition to that, we're going to throw in a little bit of linguiça so we can have a real nice appetizer. And then I'm even going to show you guys how to make my famous smoked pineapple habanero sauce. Now I'm not going to give you the recipe because this is going to be available for sale at the Jezia Gourmet Facebook page or the Instagram where you can actually purchase it. But if you can figure out how to do it by watching it, that's on you guys. But otherwise, just go to Instagram and Facebook and request it. We sell it $6.99 a bottle, 4 ounces. In addition to that, make sure that you're sharing, that you're liking, that you turn on your notifications. We want to get some more subscribers so you guys can keep seeing all the exciting stuff that we're doing for you. Once again, if there's something that you see that you'd like me to cook or you'd like me to prepare, or like some recipes, or even some 5 or 6 minute how-to videos if maybe you want a little bit more time spent on one of the sauces or something, just reach out. I've got no problem putting together some great stuff for you guys because the whole point of this is to teach you how to make some refined flavors. So other than that, we'll see you guys at the smoking pit. I like to start by showing you how I make my roasted garlic. The roasted garlic butter that we're about to prepare is a key ingredient throughout the course of the entire video. So here you'll notice I keep the cap in hand. Any of the garlic that is not up to quality standards we remove. Then we just allow the olive oil to saturate into the bulb itself and then cap it, put it into some aluminum foil and roast it at 375 degrees for 1 hour, and then you'll get that perfectly roasted garlic. Alright, so you'll notice whenever I take it out of the oven, there's going to be an essential color and a texture that I'm looking for. If you over roast it, you're gonna, some of these bulbs, instead of having that beautiful buttery soft texture, you're gonna get much stiffer, harder, overcooked pieces, which will be better as well as not taste for what we're looking for. And then the white wine reduction that I use for this garlic butter is 500 milliliters of white wine. Choose something that's maybe a little bit less citric, so I use like a Pinot Grigio, and then reduce it from 500 milliliters down to half a cup, and then squeeze out your garlic. Go ahead and mix in your softened butter, and just keep whisking it until it all comes together into a nice, beautiful, smooth paste. And then that's when I add my salt and my pepper to give it the final flavor. A little bit of oregano too. And so in the end, I'm going to use this garlic butter as an appetizer for some bread. I'm going to use it as a glue and adhesive for the thyme and the pineapple when I roll my beef belly. And I just like to keep some just on hand in the refrigerator at all times. This is one of my favorite things to eat, and it's a crowd pleaser if you ever want to have some nice Italian antipasta prior to any of your meals. Don't forget to separate some of that butter for your beef belly in a different container so we don't cross-contaminate. So once again, these are the hog legs that I'm using for the appetizer. Just with these, be cautious of your fingers. Make sure that you're slowly cutting away the fat lining from the ligament and the muscle and the skin. And if you use a petty knife, that will give you, the speed and consistency that you're looking for when pulling these apart. This isn't really something to overthink. You just want to roll the skin down. That way you can season the meat, and then you're going to roll the skin back up before we score it and get it prepared for the smoker. Now, if you find any of these little blood clots or extra fatty tissue that you want to separate, make sure you clean those off prior to seasoning the meat. As far as the seasoning is concerned, this is really simple. I'm gonna salt it and then let the salt set for about 15 minutes. Let the meat start sweating through that fat a little bit. Then I'm gonna add just black pepper, chili powder, and then I get a nice maple, like a maple sugar and salt seasoning. You can make it yourself, or you can buy it. There's a lot of barbecue houses that have that maple seasoning. That goes really well in this. And then just a little bit of oregano. Get it all over the inside of the meat before I roll it, and then just cover that bottom end. Make sure it's as covered in spices as we can get before it hits that smoker. And then the scoring is really quite simple. I mean, doing whatever pattern you'd like to. And here I'm just doing a straight cross cut. Some people like to checker, whatever designs you'd like to do. But what's important is that we're able to penetrate the skin, so the meat inside is getting that nice, beautiful, smoky flavor. I like to finish it with a little bit of the oil, just to get a little bit of a sear and help that skin get crispy. Now, this is the beef belly. We're gonna separate this belly a little bit later into 2 pieces, but for now, there's, as you see, a lot of fat. So I just wanna thin out some of this fat because I don't need that much on there. So what I'm going to do is all that fat that you're seeing me trim off, I'm going to separate, and then I'm going to render later, because again, I can use this as cooking oil. And animal fat makes some of the best oils to cook in because it's full of amino acids. It's actually healthier than most oils you can cook with here. Seasoning on this again is pretty simple. It's just salt, pepper, and then you saw me toasting those fresh coriander seeds in that bay leaf. So I'm going to grind those separate and finish it on it. So it's 4 simple ingredients: salt, pepper, coriander, and bay leaf. And that unified flavor is going to pair really well with the smoke, and then really well in our Kahlua braise. So half again is for the braise, and half is for the smoke. Painting on that white wine garlic butter, don't put too much on because it's already super fatty. Essentially, you're just putting on enough to create almost like an adhesive layer, because we're about to roll this pineapple in there, and we want to make sure that our meat stays nice and tight as it's rolled up. That way it doesn't just remain too loose inside the banana leaf that we're going to smoke those in. Braised portion. So again, the only difference in flavor here is I'm adding the rosemary, brown sugar, and then a cup of Kahlua and a cup of coffee. So that's gonna add some really nice, sweet yet earthy accents to the braised beef belly that we're looking for. Because I mean, this is gonna braise over 3 hours at 285 degrees and just incorporate all that beautiful flavor in there. And it's important whenever you're braising to make sure that you don't completely engulf the meat in your braising liquid. So you want to have roughly 20% of whatever you're braising in there. Of course, I add the straw mushrooms after a couple hours of braising. That way there's still some texture at the end. Don't forget, folks, check the link above to go over the process of getting your smoker ready. But just remember, 185 degrees is the best temperature to smoke any of your meats at. Now here I'm using some French bread just so I can make some croutons. Again, I'm going to use the white wine garlic butter to make these croutons, and because I want my meal to have texture, because at the end, you know, I've got the mushrooms, which are a spongy texture. I've got the braised beef belly, which is, you know, a softer texture. The smoked beef belly, which is a little bit stiffer of a texture, but also generally soft. So I need some crunch on my plate, and so that's what these croutons are going to be for. This is going to give the crunch that I need, plus that little bit of garlicky acidity, which is going to be really nice to cut through all the fat. Get into some more of the appetizer stuff, you know, and it's important for me to recognize the appetizers in our videos, because it's an opportunity to see that, you know, no matter how busy we get, no matter what we're doing, it's really important to take the times with your friends and family to sit down, take a break, and enjoy, you know, each other's company. And you know, it doesn't matter if you're making a video or if you're just hanging out. When you're doing a lot of cooking, sometimes it's easy to, you know, get away from the mange. You know what I mean? It's important to recognize it. So that's why we always put our pause for appetizers. So here you're going to see that we get that linguiça ready to go. We have that hog leg ready to go. And then, you know, it's also a way for me to get Matt involved. You know, it's always nice to let him use his own smoker. You look at that beautiful linguiça, you'll notice that inside the skin is that layer of juicy, fatty deliciousness that I'm showing you there. So you know this is going to be good because it is perfectly cooked. And I mean, you pair up that smokiness, that super fatty, you know, linguiça with what becomes more of a lean hog leg. There's a really beautiful marriage of flavors. There's that juice. Before we sit down for appetizers, I want to make sure that I get my beef belly on the smoker, because this is going to be on the smoker for about 3.5 hours before it's going to be done later on. Yeah, look how perfectly crunchy that skin is. So it's you know, you got the meat is super tender on the inside, and that skin is just that beautiful chicharron type skin on the outside. So it's going to be a great texture that goes with our appetizer. And then we also got some Ecuadorian cheese that's wrapped up in that banana leaf. And this is one of my favorite cheeses, especially, you know, it adds a little bit of salinity and just the overall flavor, the creaminess to cut through some of that fat. But again, guys, take the time to eat food, have some drinks, enjoy yourself throughout the course of your day, because my videos, generally you're cooking all day long, because these are, you know, slow, developed, high-end flavors that you're creating. just so you folks at home know, in this scenario, we used both pecan wood and apple wood for our smoke. Now I'm gonna make my pineapple habanero sauce, and in order to do that, I need to have some really nice smoked and grilled pineapple to go into my sauce. So I do that right at the end. That way I'm taking everything off all at the same time. Because as my meat is resting, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare my sauce. So I mean, the combination of sweet and smoky and a slight acidity is, man, such a great combination. Again, if you guys would like to buy my smoked pineapple habanero sauce, check out Jezia Gourmet's Instagram and Facebook. Give us a direct message. We sell it for $6.99 for a 4-ounce bottle. And I tell you what, I mean, sweet, spicy, and acidic. You're not going to beat this sauce anywhere else, not with the stick. Say it again, and I've said it before, it's really important that you always strain your sauces because you want that silky smooth texture. You never want any of the clumps left behind. Alright, so here we have that braised belly. So you see we've got that spice structure has stayed on top. It's got that nice coloration from the braising liquid, and look at the fat content. It's just absolutely beautiful. Still just seeping water and juices out. And it's absolutely delicious, and this is going to give a great variant flavor to our smoked meat, which we're taking off the smoker as we speak. Again, this meat, you just want to let it cool down a touch, and then be careful when taking off those banana leaves because they do retain a lot of steam, and there's no reason for them to burn themselves. So as we always do when we're blanching our vegetables, just get your water to boiling, add a little bit of salt, put the veggies in. These aren't going to be in the water for any longer than 30 to 45 seconds. You're just trying to par cook it, get that brilliant green color. Then it comes out of the boiled water and into an ice bath. That stops the cooking process and brings out all that nice brilliant green. In this case, you know, these baby bok choys hold a lot of the water from the bath. So I'm gonna take it out, put it on some paper towel or a very clean rag, let some of that water drain out, and then I salt it before I stick it on the grill pan with some real hot oil so I can get those grill marks and bring it to temperature for my plate. Then again, guys, when it comes to plating, you know, just have some fun with it. I like to, you know, create some kind of structure, whether it's linear, whether it's pinwheel or circular. You know, it's just important that your sauces are on point. If I'm creating a base sauce, that's the first thing I put down. If I'm using a poured sauce like we are this time around, then that's the last thing that I'm going to put because I want it to kind of seep around the rest of the plate. And also, in this case, this is a spicier sauce. So let's say you have somebody that's maybe not as keen to spice. That gives them an opportunity to eat around the sauce. But as a whole, this is a dish that is intended to be consumed with all of its features. And soon, folks, this is a saucier spoon. You notice it has a spigot towards the tip of it, a spout. Soon we're going to be having the Jezia Gourmet saucier spoon available for sale on our Instagram and Facebook page, so look forward to that. Otherwise, guys, enjoy the meal, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. We appreciate our friends at Kutara Knives again for sponsoring our videos. Make sure you check them out, and we'll see you for the next one.